It's nice to see you all. So this is my first time doing this, so please bear with me. I am aware that most of you see me get knocked unconscious on TV, so I don't know what the worst could happen, but we'll see how we go. So we've got quite a treat for you. We've got some good fighters here today. I'm going to call them all to the stage now, and we're going to get rolling, get your questions out, and we've got a couple of mics set up, so if you've got anything on your mind you want to ask these guys, life questions, thoughts, whatever you want, they'll be here for your viewing pleasure. So, welcome to the stage. We've got 4 fighters up. We have Uriah Hall. Come on, you got to do better than that. We have Matt the Immortal Brown. We have Tough 20 contestant Alex Chambers. And we have the world champion, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Weidman. So it's quite a busy stage. I see we've got somebody in an awesome Pride shirt ready to ask a question. I'm honoured to be here with you guys and with these fighters, and I'm looking forward to your questions. I have a couple of my own if we get a bit dry, but please keep them coming. We've got an hour to kill before the weigh-in start, and we're going to have some dehydrated athletes in the back. We want to get them on stage pretty quickly for you. So, first question.
Hey guys. Thanks for punching a hole through my chest yesterday, Chris.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
That was awesome. You're the first person that actually did punch a hole through a chest.
I was
so
surprised.
That was good. Yeah.
I thought someone would do it.
What's up, Australia? Yeah.
I got 2 questions. One for Dan first. Okay. You were talking about going down to lightweight, maybe?
Yep.
And here Conor McGregor's thinking one day he'll go up to lightweight. Is that a fight you'd be interested in? Because I'd be stoked to see it. Give
me a stool. I'll be a guest fighter. I don't know. To be honest, I'm more concerned right now about getting cleared and getting back in the octagon. I'm a commentator, and I love this job. I love being a part of the sport and a part of the commentary team. I've got a couple more fights in me, though, and I would very much like the opportunity to fight. I'm thinking 155 would be a good weight class for me. There's a deep division. There's some good tests there. And as you can see, I was supposed to fight this guy a little while ago. And if you look at the size of me in comparison to me...
I'm fat right now, though.
I don't want any part of that division anymore. They're all too big. So I'm thinking 55. I'd like to get cleared and looking at the end of next year to have another fight. So Conor McGregor, I don't know. I think he'll be world champion pretty soon. So I might be waiting a little while for that one.
Thanks, and just
Next question.
One quick one for the rest of you. There's a lot of fights going on in Brazil, and like in Australia, everyone's fighting earlier. In Brazil, they're fighting much later. So what kind of adjustments in your training would you guys have to make to adjust for the different time zones and the different times you'd be fighting, do you reckon? Is it any difference for you?
I don't know. I never really did it, so
Okay.
I don't know if anybody else did. But
For me, man, I believe, when the bell rings, I'm ready to fight. It don't matter if it's at 3 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So all I do is just get ready as I can every day and be prepared for a fight anytime, any day. I'd fight you right now if you want to fight.
No, I'm good, thanks. Thanks, guys.
Any more? Anybody else? International experience, competition?
Matt Brown tried to fight me backstage. I was like, listen, I'm bigger than you. Stop trying to pick on me.
That's a good question. Thank you. So let's jump over to the next mic.
Hey guys, Matt, this is one for you. This morning, I think it was announced you were facing Tarek Saffiedine in January in Sweden. Is that right?
They tell me not to say anything, So I don't know, yeah. We haven't signed anything, but,
Okay.
I mean, I guess if you read Twitter, apparently, then, yeah, we're fighting. So I've never not signed a contract that they sent me, so I'm sure we'll be fighting.
Let's just say in a hypothetical fight then, how do you see yourself beating Tarek? What are your advantages over him?
I'm gonna knock him out. I think I can punch his face before he punches mine. I don't really know, honestly. I don't know how to answer that question other than saying it like that, because I don't know. I haven't even never watched him really, other than when he fought McDonald and Marquardt, and I wasn't that impressed in either one, even though he beat Marquardt, who's a very good fighter. But I think Marquardt just wasn't ready for that fight, honestly. So McDonald made it look easy. So I'm not really sure what he brings. I gotta look at his videos and see how he rolls.
Cool. And then just quickly for Alex, awesome fight on Tough yesterday. Shame you didn't win, but it's probably the best fight of the season.
Thanks. Yeah, I think, with that fight, fighting is, 90% mental, they say, and I think with that, I'd lost that fight before I even stepped into the cage. You know, my confidence wasn't there, and, you know, I learnt a lot on the show, and I'm really looking forward to my fight on the finale.
And it is worth noting, that's not your regular weight class, is it? You're normally 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah, I only had the one fight at the lighter weight, at atom weight, and that was my Invicta fight.
Okay.
So yeah, I am lighter than the other girls, but I think with that, you know, comes some advantages as well. So, you know, I've put on a few kilos since the show, and I'm just, you know, looking forward to stepping into the cage in December on the finale and, you know, showing everyone what I've got.
I'm pretty sure you're going to have some good support from these guys.
Thanks.
Guy with the stripy shirt, what do you got for us?
Question for Matty Boy. How you going, champion? Got a question for you, mate. You've caught a bit of attention in the media recently and calling out GSP. I just wanted to ask you, what are you thinking, mate? You're not going to beat the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. So, how's that?
I think I used to hear that before I fought Anderson Silva too, so it's all right. Get used to it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask
Sit
you.
down!
What tools can you bring, you know? I'm quite interested to hear this one.
Well, apparently I couldn't beat him, so I guess I wouldn't bring any tools. I'd just go in and get my ass whooped and get paid.
All right.
That's what I did. It worked out pretty well for me. Okay, let's jump over to the next microphone.
Brownie, would you like me to go over and flog that bloke for you?
I get free ticket to anyone.
Chris, Vitor Belfort. Any thoughts on that?
Well, he just took a test the other day, and I'm hoping he passes.
Yeah.
That's the first thought. Second thought is February 28th, and I'm going to completely dominate him.
Hey, Matty, took a couple of liver punches last fight. They hurt or what?
You want to see what it feels like?
I'll just go and sit down, I think.
You tell me. Nah, mate, I'll give it to this guy instead.
I just want to ask you about that, because a lot of people get this mixed up a lot of the time. There's a difference between calling out somebody and asking for a fight against somebody. Now, sometimes you'll call somebody out because you want to fight the guy, but I would assume from you it's a respect thing for GSP. You want to test yourself against him. Is that right?
Well, the actual point that I was making when I spoke about GSP, if you read the entire article, which I don't know if anybody actually has, but was actually the podcast that I do, but the point was I think I'm in the proper position for him as a return fight. You know what I mean? I'm at the right spot, and I think, you know, unless he came back and fought directly for the title, then I think I'm in the proper position. And as a fight, of course, I'd always want. I want to test myself against the best. I think he's a legend, and I think he's one of the top, you know, 2 or 3 greatest fighters that's ever been in the octagon. So, of course, I want to see what I do with him. I mean, I want to fight all the best. You know, I want to fight Fedor or Anderson. You know, I mean, I want to fight the best guys. That's the point of being in the sport.
So, coming off your last fight, obviously, you were on a tear before that. What was your takeaway from that fight? What do you go into your next training camp and change in preparation for your next fight?
You know, I was pretty content with actually how I performed in my last fight. I think Robbie was just a step ahead of me, and that happens sometimes. You know, what I do is I go into every fight, I give 120% throughout camp and 120% throughout the fight. And as long as that happens, then I can be content with myself, and I can go to sleep that night perfectly happy with what happened. He was simply a better man that night. I don't have any regrets. I don't have any excuses. There's nothing in the sense of, you know, I wish I did this or I wish I did that. I mean, the only thing I could wish is that, you know, I punched him one more time than I did. You know what I mean?
Okay, we've got a few lines coming up. Let's go to this microphone here.
Hey, yeah, this is Phil Weidman. If you beat Belfort and Silva beats Diaz, would you like to fight him again and put to bed all the rumours about it being luck?
Why, there's rumors?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. What'd you say? What's the line again? About luck?
It's where preparation meets opportunity.
I think that's luck, yeah. I don't know. She said it before. It sounded good. It sounded good again. But, oh, yeah. So Anderson Silva, 3rd time. If that's what the people want to see, then it'll happen. What? Is he what?
Easy payday.
Easy payday? Yeah, pretty much. With all due respect.
Something that was fascinating as I was doing a bit of research for this, he'd already been the champion for 2 years when you made your debut.
Oh, wow, that's
Now-
some crazy research.
So what was that like? I mean, you know, you're sitting on the outside of the sport, you're watching the UFC as a fan,
Yeah.
and you see Anderson Silva as the champion, and then
Oh yeah, I was
Now you-
when I was I didn't know the facts on it, but he was definitely champion when I was getting into the sport, and it's crazy because when I got into the sport, I was looking up to him too. I'm watching this guy, I'm like, yeah, this guy is good. But as soon as I hit my first pad and I got my first sparring session in, I believed I could beat him, and it took about 3 years I think until I finally got in the octagon with him, and then that was the night I beat him, and then I had to beat him again. But it's crazy when you say something, you know, you have a goal. And my goal and my dream was to be UFC champion and to beat Anderson Silva. That, you know, every fight leading up to beating Anderson Silva, when I was fighting on the undercard of the UFC or even prior to that, the local shows, I wasn't just training to beat those guys I was going against. At that time, I was training to beat Anderson Silva because he was the best in the weight and, you know, greatest of all time, pound for pound, #1, and all that stuff. And to actually finally get to the point of fighting him and beating him was just a huge accomplishment for me, especially when you're telling the whole world you're going to do it and they're all looking at you like you're an idiot. And then when you finally do it, it's definitely a great feeling.
you can clap, it's okay. We're all happy to be here. Next question.
Yeah, hi. This question's for Chris. Who do you think is the biggest threat to your division, to your belt, sorry? We all know Vitor ain't going to get past you. Do you feel that Rockhold is a much bigger threat because he's longer, bigger?
With all due respect to the division, nobody's beating me at 185. Sorry. With all due respect, I think everybody's talented, and I think there's some great guys. Everyone has a threat, but none of them are beating me.
Also, this question's for Uriah. Is it weird that you're seeing Wyman as the champion and actually seeing near him now when you guys fought about a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it's
Now
very
it's
weird.
Now it's awful.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, right. It's very awkward now.
We don't want to talk about it.
No, you know, first off, you know, I respect Chris. Yeah, he definitely did a lot. He's a champ, you know, and back when we fought years ago, I was the guy to beat, and now he's the guy to beat. So it's just paving the way and making it back there. And we still have respect for each other, I think, but it would be an awesome fight if it happens again. And I'm not going to talk smack, but it's just working my way back up to the top, that's all.
Can I get a photo with you guys afterwards?
Yeah, man, $5.
Cool, man.
Don't sell
Also,
yourself
Dan,
short. $20. $20.
Also, Dan, how do I apply for a job for the UFC? Something cool like you guys do.
You have to get GSP to beat you up for 25 minutes.
Easy payday, right?
Not at all. Okay, next question. The guy behind the camera.
So one for Chris. Apart from your awesome fighting style, one of the highlights is seeing Ray Longo or Matt Serra's one-liners in between rounds. Is there any you can share with us from training or any that haven't been put on the broadcast? Some classics?
Well, the classic of all time is obviously, you know, I want you to punch a effing hole through his chest. I don't think you ever could beat that. And there's actually a lot of there's reasonings for him saying that. It wasn't just like out of anger he's saying that. There's a lot of technique involved because Anderson Silva's the type of guy who puts his hands down and he's using a lot of hip movement to get his head back. And so you want to start at his chest. You punch a hole through his chest, and then you come up to the head. And that's pretty much what ended that fight, that first fight. You know, you have to start at the body and come up to the head.
Yeah.
But I'm so blessed. I have a great coaching staff. You know, I was saying before, I think in another interview that, you know, a lot of fighters, you know, they spend a whole career looking for the right place to train with the right coaches. And I was blessed to where I grew up in New York. And, you know, when I just started to fight MMA, literally, you know, the town next door was Longo's gym. The town on the other side was Matt's gym. And it was just, that's one part of my career I'll never have regrets or any insecurities about. That I think I'm at the best gym in the world.
Thanks.
With the best coaches in the world. When you know, if you ask, you know, MMA fans, one of my biggest strengths usually they'll say is, you know, because, you know, I beat Anderson Silva, my mental mindset the mental toughness aspect, I have down pretty good, which I do, which comes from confidence, which really comes from hard work. I work really hard. But to have Ray Longo and Matt Serra in your corner and they have confidence in you, just brings you on a whole nother level. So that's what really, I think sets me apart.
Thanks.
They are two of my favorite people in mixed martial arts. They helped me out before the GSP fight, and it was.
I remember that.
Every day was comedy. Every day was comedy.
Amazing. I remember watching you hit pads. Actually, I threw my left hook. I think you're the reason I knocked out Anderson Silva.
Nah.
I think it was you. I watched you throwing the left hook, and you
I'm retired. That's it.
You bring your knuckles over a different way. It was really. I definitely learned some stuff from you too. I'm always learning. I'm always watching, fights and picking a couple things from different guys, and it's all about continually to learn and being open-minded. Don't ever think you know it all. So.
Excellent question. Red shirt.
Hey, first of all, Matt, you're my favourite fighter. I reckon you should be fighting Hendricks because I think you got more heart. Second of all, Uriah, after the Ultimate Fighter season, all the hype surrounding you and during the season, do you think you've lived up to that hype? And on that, what's your next step to go further?
Good question. Well, I definitely, agree with Chris. It's about moving forward. And I look at it a little differently than most people. For me, it's about progression. You can fail something, and then I'm the first to just get back up. And I think it's the same carryover in life. But a lot of people just look at the sport as this brutal thing, just go in there and punch someone in the face. Yeah, but at the same time, for me individually, I'm just trying to get better. And at that given time, there was a lot of hype, and, it was just a new environment, and it was different. It was like being thrown in the jungle with no guide. And I had to learn a lesson, and I did. So I just picked myself up, and now I'm moving forward.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Next question.
I got two questions. First one for Matt. With a win over Safadine, do you think that gives you a title shot?
Not even really concerned about that right now. I don't look past the fight at all. Right now, the way I look at it is the last day of my life is January 24th, and January 25th, I don't care what happens as long as I win on January 24th.
Thanks. And for Chris and Uriah, who wins tomorrow, Bisping or Rockhold?
Bit tense in here now.
I already got put on the spot in front of them at the press conference. It was the most embarrassing thing ever. I felt terrible. But I think Rockhold wins it, but I think it could be. I want to see an exciting fight. I think if Bisping's goal has to be to just frustrate Rockhold and open rounds, just kind of drag it on. I think his way of winning is through a decision. So he has to I think he has to mix in some wrestling and just frustration on the feet and a lot of footwork. He has a way to win, but I see the odds are definitely in Rockhold's favor.
I could partially agree with that. I could see Rockhold having that too because of his length. But the thing with Rockhold is I can't look at him and say, oh, he's great at something. I can just say he's effective. And when someone's effective, it's hard to beat him. But with Bisping, he just comes at you. So it's a really great matchup, and I'm just excited to see it.
Hang on a second. You train with Bisping, all right?
Thanks, buddy. Thanks. I train a little bit with Bisping, so I got beat up.
How often does he come to Reign?
I only saw him this camp, but it was good.
Gotcha. How do you deal with him in sparring? No, I'm just kidding.
All right, next question.
Yes, sir.
For Chris, how with the Anderson Silva fights, what was your feeling after the first and the second? And was there anything different you did from the first to the second fight to counter out his wacky style?
Yeah, well, the first I was obviously beyond overjoyed. I achieved my dream being UFC champion and beating Anderson Silva, and I got done telling the whole world I was going to do it, and I did it. For the second fight, it was completely different. I could hardly even smile after the fight. I was like trying to force out one. I was like, "What the heck is going on?" I broke his leg. It was not the way I wanted to finish a fight. What did I do to change in between the two fights? The only thing that hit me with him in the first fight was leg kicks. And it was going to be a problem. So, leading up to the second fight, I did check leg kicks. I was getting better at checking leg kicks. All I really did was practice that. I added in the shadow box and work things with Longo. But I still had no intention of breaking his leg. Never would. If I had to do it all over again, that's not the way it would have ended. It would have ended in the first round when I dropped him in the first round and finished him on the ground. So, Yeah, I think that answered your question.
Yeah, and can I get a photo?
But $50.
Jeez.
Okay, next
50,
question.
50 Australian dollars. Because I know it's worth more than American dollars, supposedly.
Next question, please.
Hi, this is a question for Chris. We've seen you compete in the ADCC before against Galvao and things like that. Are you looking to compete in any grappling tournaments or like Metamoris or anything like that in the future?
So you're definitely a big fan if you know about ADCC and all that stuff. So that's basically the submission world championships. Is that a good way of explaining it? Pretty much, yeah. It's like the, yeah. So I did that, and I don't know what year it was, but it was a great experience. I would love, that was, I think I had like 9 months of jiu-jitsu under my belt, and then leading up to that, I was submitting all the guys in the tournament that qualified me for the world championships. I felt my game was good then, and it's got a lot better since then. So I would love to really, get to compete against these top grapplers in the world. I think I did really well, but I don't know as far as with the UFC how that works. Supposedly they're letting guys do Metamoris. I don't know if they'll let me, as a champion do it, but I know I'd make them look good.
Well, thanks, mate.
It's a good question. Next up.
Hey guys, it's a question for all of you. Just in terms of after a fight, what's the main aspect of recovery? Because you have some people that just are ready all year round, and there's a lot of injuries after fights nowadays. So what's your thoughts on that?
Pizza. No, just,
I can tell you're a Matt Serra student.
Yes. Meatballs, spaghetti and meatballs. How you doing? I don't know. You guys have anything good?
Just rest, man. I mean, you just pretty much fought like hell, so I'm just going to chill, take a vacation, eat regular, watch TV, play games, be normal again.
Have your toe stitched back on?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, rest, as Uriah said. I get forced to take time off because usually I want to get back to the gym. Martial arts, MMA is something I love doing, and so my coach forces me to take a week or so off, and then, I don't know, I guess back in the gym and have fun again, like with my training.
For me, it's like has been mentioned before, they say the fight is 90% mental, right? So the recovery is exactly the same. It's not about the physical. I can be in the gym on Monday easy enough physically, so I go to relax my mind is my whole thing. So I try to go out in nature. That's what I do to relax my mind. After every fight, I make it a point to go out and, be with the, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, crap, tree hugger, whatever. But, I go out and, be one with the earth or whatever you want to call it. And, I think that's, what just brings my mind back to a centered position again. And gets it back where I can come back on track soon after and get right back in there as soon as possible.
So that was the toughest hippie reply I've ever heard. just be with nature and stuff. Just nature and it's all right, dude.
Beers and
we all love nature. For me, it's cookies, Lego, and Family Guy. That's pretty much it for about 2 weeks, and about 40 pounds. Next question.
Okay, I've got 2 questions. First one for Chris. When do you reckon you're going to get the recognition you deserve? I mean, you beat Anderson Silva twice. You just beat Lyoto Machida, all dominant victories. So when do you reckon that people are going to stop doubting you and hold you in that high regard?
I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. I think no matter what, look at LeBron James. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Do you guys even know who LeBron James is?
Yeah.
All right. So he's popular, right? All right, there's still a lot of haters and doubters up with him, and I mean he's reached the pinnacle. Michael Jordan, I mean name any athlete, Muhammad Ali, everybody's got haters and doubters. You can't make that your main priority to achieve, to silence all doubters because it's never going to happen. But it's a great motivating factor because it will never go away. So you could that could be one of your main things that you're focusing on is I don't want I want to prove these doubters wrong because guess what, they're never going to go away.
And my second one's for Alex. Are you single?
No, MMA is my... I'm just focusing on MMA at the moment, so... That's my love life.
Right.
You got to at least give him a hug or a kiss or something. Yeah.
Okay, next question. These are good questions, guys. Keep them coming.
Question for Matt. when you were fighting Eric Silva and you got hit with the body shots, is it a point of no return where it's either you're going down or he's going down?
I don't know what you mean. I went down.
But getting back up and keep going, do you know you have to take him out before, like, were you going to make it through the round?
I have no idea when a fight was going to happen. At that point, when he knocked me down with a body shot, all I could think in my mind was, you better finish me right now because I'm coming back to kill you. Fortunately I did, right? Fortunately he didn't do what I said he had to do. But that's the way you got to think. I think each moment in a fight, I don't think about the next round. I don't think about the next punch. I don't think about anything except for the present moment. And that's really all that matters. I think if you take care of what's happening at the moment, the same thing in life, it's all a metaphor for life, right? You take care of the moment and the next thing will take care of itself.
And Uriah, on the UFC Embedded, when you were getting your toe put in, would have you held it in if you knew the cameras were there?
First of all, I don't know if anybody have had their toe broken, but that shit hurts. And, it's funny because someone asked me the same question, and there were some girls back there. I was trying to be a little tough. I couldn't do it. My bone was too far out, and of course, as soon as I realized I was screaming, someone was recording, and I got thrown up, so thank you.
No worries.
And it's amazing how quickly that adrenaline wears off as well when you got an injury.
You know what? I don't think it was really adrenaline. I just sucked it up, man. It was like, oh, my toe's broken. All right, just keep going. It's a mindset,
Next question.
How you going? Just Chris touched on it before with some grappling matches. So Metamoris, Sakuraba's fighting, and Rory McDonald's actually fighting in Metamoris as well. So I just want to see what you guys interested in doing that. I know Chris touched on it, but the other four fighters, would you be interested in doing Metamoris or something similar?
Anybody? Any takers? Metamoris?
I personally don't want to do Metamoris, but I would like to do something like Glory or some kickboxing. Metamoris, I do grappling more as a central part of my sport, and I've come to enjoy it a lot more. But kickboxing, that's some man shit.
What do you guys think about Sakuraba coming back and having that grappling match?
Do you know who he's facing?
Yeah.
Because you're not saying his name. You should say his name, man. Renzo Gracie. Is he not popular here? Do people not know Renzo Gracie?
Renzo Gracie's an animal.
Oh,
so,
okay.
It's
I think that's crazy. I'm excited for that. I'm pumped that both those guys are going to put that on the line at this stage of the game when they have created such a great career for themselves. And, they really don't have a lot to lose, but they do in some sense. In their minds, they do. So it's a lot. It's definitely I'm excited to watch that fight or that grappling match.
Yeah. So Uriah, you guys interested in that? Anything else?
I wish I was good enough. I'll stick with kickboxing as well.
Yeah, I'm a puncher. I like to punch people. Sorry.
All right, cool. Thanks.
That hugging stuff.
Okay, next up.
Question for the champ. You said yourself you don't really see anyone in your division beating you. So have you put any thought into maybe going up to 205 and challenging for the title?
I say that that's my mindset, and coming up, I felt the same way. But I have a lot of great guys that I have to face before that's going to happen. But eventually, I do see that happening if the plans stay right on the right path.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
How are you guys? Chris, I've got two questions for you. First one, just want to know what it is about Vitor Belfort that brushes you up the wrong way. I'm starting to feel a bit bad for the guy. I saw the press conference the other day, and all the middleweights were picking on him. He's done a lot for the sport. He's been around, almost 20 years. He's never been an average fighter. He has a lot of good skills. Don't you think it's a bit unfair to, attribute all the success to...
I don't like kicking people when they're down. And when I saw articles today, Rockhold, Bisping, and Weidman, were clowning on Vitor, I don't like to kind of jump on the bandwagon and put somebody down. But I am fighting the guy, and he has been caught cheating twice, and that's where it's at. And it's just fuel for the fire. It's nothing. It's all business.
But don't you feel that you put yourself in an awkward position too? Because
why?
Because if he gets through it, then people
gets
what? So if you get through the fight, then like Michael Bisping said, you got the lesser Vitor Belfort. So isn't it just to sweep that under the rug and just keep moving? Or
I'm expecting, that's what Michael Bisping's saying. He lost to the Vitor that he thought was, almighty and great. But I'm expecting a tough Vitor. I'm expecting a better Vitor because I can't afford not to. I'm expecting a guy who might have better endurance because he's going to have a little less muscle mass. When you have muscle mass, it's just science. Lactic acid is going to fill up the muscles, and you're not going to be able to explode as long as you want. So, especially a guy like Vitor, he's had a history of slowing down as the fight goes, or not actually. When he got knocked out by Anderson Silva, everyone said he choked, and he didn't actually show his true self, and that's maybe because he doesn't want to explode and get tired. But now he doesn't have to worry about that. Now we're going to see a Vitor that comes out and can let it all hang loose and not have to worry. And everybody up here is going to tell you there's no bigger fear in fighting than to worry about getting tired. It's one of the biggest problems. This is why a lot of these guys are losing fights because they're beating themselves because they're scared of getting tired. They're not just going out there and fighting freely and just being able to do whatever comes to their mind and whatever instincts pop in because they're constantly holding back. And now that Vitor doesn't have to worry about that anymore. It's going to be a great fight. So no, I'm not taking anything away from him, but I am going to be on him about being a cheater.
Okay. Thank you. And and just before you leave, can you just tell us about your hero story, saving the old lady who lives next door to you?
All right, here we go. I've told this a couple times. All right, yeah. So basically, if you haven't heard, so I was out. I had to pick up a couple guys from the airport. And so I was out in my car, and actually it rains in New York. I know it probably doesn't rain here, but it was torrential downpour. You guys just live in, perfect heaven place over here, but it rains, and there's, bad things that happen in other places in the world. You guys don't really know about this, but so I was cleaning out my car. I was like, doing all this, and I'm rushing. I'm getting soaking wet, and I start hearing this crazy noise, like repeatedly, and I'm thinking it's like an animal dying or something. So I look across the street, and a couple of houses down, I see someone kind of standing in their driveway in torrential downpour on a cell phone. So I'm thinking it's like a husband and wife yelling on the phone or something like that. So I don't want to keep looking. So I'm like, doing my thing. I keep hearing it. I'm like, this is weird. And all of a sudden I got this like weird feeling. I'm like, you know what? I was rushing to the airport anyway. So I'm like, let me get in the car and drive the way my house is. If I go to my right, it's basically like a dead end. So I'm like, let me just drive that way and then make a turnaround to get out of here. As I'm driving that way, I kind of put my window down. Just, I don't want them to think I'm looking. If it's like a husband yelling at his wife, I don't want to be staring at him and making him feel awkward. So I'm just driving. I put it down a little bit. I'm getting like splashed in the face by water. And all of a sudden, like as I get a little closer, it starts coming to fruition what they're really saying. And they're yelling, help me, help me. And I'm like, what the heck? So I stopped the car in the street. I jump out. And this old lady, she ended up being 94 years old. And she's holding her neck. And she's just pouring blood everywhere. It's just squirting. And I'm like, so obviously right away, I'm thinking that she got stabbed or she stabbed herself. And I'm like, I don't even know what I was thinking at the time. But I was like, all right, I don't know if I said anything. But I was like, all right, let me bring you inside. She had her garage door open. That's how she came into her driveway. So I brought her into her garage and I found somewhere for her to sit, got her to sit down, and I start calling 911. As I'm calling 911, obviously I'm trying to keep her calm. You're going to be okay. And she won't stop yelling she's just screaming noises like, And I'm like, calm down. And so I call 911, and I get the 911 on the phone. I'm like, listen, I got a really old lady here. She's not doing really good. This is the address. We need you here right away. They're like, all right, let me transfer you to emergency services. So they transfer me to emergency services. Literally 20, 30 seconds go by, no one picks up. I'm like, what the hell? So I hang up, I call 911 again. Same thing. I had to give the description again because obviously a different person picks up. Then they transfer to emergency services again. No one picks up. Thank God I have a lot of friends in the neighborhood. Called the cop, one of my cop friends that lives in the neighborhood. And he's a police officer in the neighborhood. I'm like, yo, listen, you got to get someone down here right to my house. Someone's across the street. She's not doing good. You need to get down here. So he actually called people, made it happen. They came down. Are you guys laughing at my accent? All right, you don't hear a thing. All right, so she, so basically the people came up, and during this time it ended up being she had a monster gash on her back of her head, and she fell back on a table, on a glass table. And so I was taking like paper towels and just holding on the wound, and then it would fill up with blood. And I just kept I went through like 2 huge things of paper towels. And then she's all right now, basically. So the paramedics came, and she was on blood thinners, like a lot of blood thinners, so that's why it was pouring blood like everywhere. It was like pooling on both sides of her neck, and I didn't know where the blood was coming from at first. But anyway, yeah, so thank God she's alive, and she's good, and I think that's pretty much the excitement of the story.
I change a car tire, and I'm like, yeah, got my man card today. Saving lives and winning championships.
No big deal.
Okay, which one's this one next?
Just two questions for Chris. How hard's the cut to 185?
Not bad, man. I used to get up. I used to be bigger. Like I don't know. I lost some weight. I used to get up to like 225. Even there's been points I was at 230 when there's a lot of time between my fights. Right now I'm 210, soaking wet. And I usually get into training camp around this. And for my last 3 or 4 fights, this is what I've been around. 215 the heaviest, hanging around 210. And when I get into training camp, around 205. And later in the training camp, around 200. And then I cut around 13, 14 pounds. Actually, it becomes like I do a water loading process. Don't want to go through the whole thing, but basically I get down to like 192. So I cut how many pounds is that? 7 pounds, 185 to 192. So I literally only cut 7 pounds of weight. So it's not that bad. Guys are doing way worse. Yeah. So no, it's not hard for me to make 185.
Also, thoughts on Jacare Souza? You reckon he should be next after you're done with Belfort?
Who's he fighting next?
No one.
Oh, he's not fighting next. I don't know. That's up to the UFC. He's another tough guy. He's great jiu-jitsu. His stand-up's getting better. He's definitely going to be one of these guys I'm probably fighting for a title coming up.
Thank you.
We've got a couple more questions, guys. We've got some thirsty athletes backstage, so we're going to have to wrap this up. A couple more questions, though.
Chris, 2 questions for you. The first one, what have you done differently in your training camp to adjust for Vitor?
You got a great voice. This is like scary. Oh, my gosh. Whatever. I don't know. I brought in this big old juice head, and he just ran after me nonstop. And I just worked on foot movement, head movement. I survived. So I think I'm good now.
Nice. And
big old strength guy. My strength coach. I'll just say that. I haven't done anything different.
Just because you've beat a legend in Anderson
Get
Silva.
closer. I want to hear the voice. Come on.
Because you've beat a legend in Anderson Silva, do you think that makes you a legend? Because I don't think you are just yet. Just yet.
I don't know. If I die tomorrow, you might think differently. There was a good saying in Sandlot. I don't remember it, but it's something about legends. I think it makes perfect sense. Legends never die? All right, that doesn't make sense then. Because if I died, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'll live on. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I have a long career ahead of me. I'm just going to keep winning, and maybe your tune will change.
In saying that, with the way you're going, I think you will be.
Oh, now I told you. For all that scary voice, you can change quick.
I'm sick, dude.
Next question, please.
Hi, I've got a question for Alex. You were saying how your mental game was a bit off before your fight with Rose. Do you think it was because of the fact that you were living with your opponent in the house, as opposed to previous fights where obviously you were training by yourself and living by yourself and that sort of thing?
No, I mean, I don't think it was about that at all. I think, my coaches, so Pettis and the rest of the coaching staff, trained with Rose for years and knew a lot about her. And I just feel my focus was on her instead of imposing my game and going out there and doing my thing. So it was, I think, if I'd fought a little earlier in the show, things may have been a bit different, but she's a great fighter, and it was great to be matched up against her. And I don't think living with her, we didn't have any bad blood between us. I don't think that played a part in it at all.
Yep. And was Heather as annoying as she was made out to be? Did you get to punch her?
No, I'm friends with all the girls in the house. Everyone was pretty cool with me, and I've trained with Heather in the past before. Earlier in the year, I went to Vegas and trained with her for 4 weeks, and no one's ever going to get along with everyone, and it can get a little bit annoying in the house, when you're around people and you're not used to them. So I didn't find her annoying, but obviously some of the girls did.
And just one last question. How do you guys come up with your stare-down poses? I've been having a bit of trouble with mine, like just trying to get the right pose in the mirror. It's important.
Right, it's pretty good. That's my question?
Yeah, why not? Oh, sorry. I meant a general question for everyone.
Thanks, Chris.
Come on, Uriah. Come on, Uriah. We need your answer now. Stare down.
I just wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and like, damn, you look good, and then I just go out.
He didn't even know what you said, but that's the first thing that popped in his head was just to say that.
I actually get a little animated sometime. You know, I grew up on like Street Fighter, if you guys know what that is, or Dragon Ball Z. So I try to get a little cool in there, like some Goku stuff, Super Saiyan, and Hadouken, and if you know what that is.
Sure, I've played a bit of Street Fighter and Tekken.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
All right. Let's play after.
Sure.
I'm
Thanks
serious.
very much. Yeah. Okay. For sure. Still got my PS1 at home.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we've got time for one more question. I'm sorry. We're going to have to cut it a bit short. Guys?
A question for Matt. I know you got talking about Safadine coming up, but honestly, Hector Lombard, is that something you're interested in? Because I'm really interested in that fight.
I'm interested in fighting any man. It doesn't bother me. And just to make it clear, because I assume what you're getting at is you think that I ducked him or whatever, I took the fight and, things didn't work out that way. So, I don't need to hear that kind of crap.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. We're going to have to wrap this up. I've just got to let you know that you can meet all four of these guys at the Star Casino, 5:30 to 7 p.m. tonight. I'm assuming you guys know where that is better than I do. The Star Casino, 5:30 tonight. You can meet all of these guys. Let's hear it one more time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in a few minutes with the weigh-in. Sit tight, get your cameras ready, take some selfies with the stage in the background, and I'll go backstage and have a drink and come back and see you all again.